This is the government news brief for Friday, December 2nd, 2016. In the news, President David Granger and the First Lady Sandra Granger joined Barbados' 50th Independence Anniversary celebration. The Public Health Ministry, through collaborative efforts, is working towards improving eye care for citizens, and Minister of Business Dominic Gaskin says his ministry has had a busy year. Stay tuned for these and other stories. Thank you for staying with us. I am Renetta LaFleur. Now for the details. President David Granger and the First Lady recently visited Barbados to celebrate that country's 50th independence anniversary with them. Gabriela Patram tells us more.
Barbados Prime Minister Frendel Strout thanked President David Granger for supporting the country's 50th independence celebrations.
Thanks very much for being the great people you have been over the last year. Thanks for being great Barbadians. Thanks for being great friends of Barbados. Thanks for making our 50th anniversary celebrations a resounding success.
Barbados celebrated its independence anniversary with pomp and fanfare on Wednesday, November 30th. Pop superstar and Barbados native Rihanna, along with Prince Harry of Wales, were among the celebrity guests at the grand celebrations. The Prince congratulated the country on its 50th independence anniversary on behalf of the Queen of England.
Independent Barbados is to be warmly congratulated for having been a model international citizen for 50 years, an unfailing champion of democracy and the rule of law. You have been a shining example of the values which unite our Commonwealth family, to which the Queen attaches special importance.
During their two-day visit, the President and First Lady of Guyana joined with Barbadians in their three national events to celebrate their Jubilee anniversary. For the Government News Brief, I'm Gabriela Patram.
In highlighting the year 2016, Minister of Business Dominic Gaskin says it has been a busy year. Find out what has been the highlight of this ministry from Gabriela Patram.
The ministry has managed to successfully bring together all the responsibilities and mandates of the various agencies and departments and to consolidate them into a single set of strategic objectives with the launching of the ministry's Strategic Action Plan 2016 to 2020. The business minister explains why the launch of the strategic plan is a major highlight for this year.
There are many highlights, but I think for me, what's most important is that we now have a very clear strategic plan that will inform our work over the next few years.
The minister notes that this plan will help towards improving ease of doing business in Guyana, while ensuring that the correct criteria is made. Addressing the matters of investment promotion, workforce enhancement, sustainable development, and export promotion, the Minister of Business emphasized that the plan is the ministry's and not a national one.
This is not a national plan. It is our ministry's plan. In other words, it tells us in the Ministry of Business what we need to do over the next few years. It doesn't tell anyone else what they need to do. It establishes the priorities that will allow us to achieve our mandate in the Ministry of Business, which of course ties in with the overarching national priorities of our government.
The 5 strategic goals set out by the Ministry of Business in the Strategic Action Plan are to improve the ease of doing business in Guyana, attract increased foreign investments in the economy, support the development and export of value-added industries, increase the economic opportunities and capabilities of vulnerable groups, and to expand capacity to develop and promote sustainable business-friendly policies. Minister Gaskin explained that almost everything in the ministry's plan is geared towards improving Guyana's economic performance, the business environment, and competitiveness. It is also targeted at creating an investment promotion strategy and value-added export strategy and small business development, all of which are expected to contribute to enhanced economic performance. For the Government News Brief, I'm Gabriela Patram.
Public Infrastructure Minister David Patterson says its unfortunate budget discussions have narrowed to center around 1 or 2 measures, particularly the value-added tax to be paid on water and electricity. Isaiah Braffett tells us more.
Minister Patterson says that there are no value discussions on the other measures contained in the budget that will bring benefits to thousands of Guyanese. The Public Infrastructure Minister was at the time speaking during a program aired on the National Communications Network. He was accompanied by Minister of Communities, Ronald Bulkan.
For the infrastructure side, a contractor right now, a small contractor can walk off the road, form a company, immediately get a compliance and tender for a job from January 1. No discussion on those things like that. I mean, with the 2% tax being withheld your payment, you can actually sit down and be compliant for the rest, if you're within a certain level, for the rest of your construction career. You know, I mean, there's no discussion on those things like that. So I find the measures in place for green energy. You can set up a company tomorrow, go in, bring in, produce your own electricity, and have 2 years tax-free holiday. 2 years tax-free holiday. You know what I mean? All the equipment is VAT-free, tax-free, duty-free, and those things. So it's quite unfortunate, and I mean that the discussion is, we allow the discussion to center around these two things.
Minister Bolkamp believes that if the public was to look at the objective of the measures contained in the budget, the conclusion would be more optimistic.
A lot of its measures are directed to allow for and enable a greater take-home pay for the ordinary person. This budget, of course, invests heavily in education and in health, two critical areas that impacts on the welfare and well-being of our people. If we look at the measures in total and we are objective about the measures in this budget, there's much to be excited about. And of course, we all have heard the naysayers out there seeking to condemn the budget. I've heard the Leader of the Opposition refer to it as being an ominous budget. But I believe when the impacts resulting from the execution of the measures that are in this budget, that the verdict that we will hear from the average person will be a positive one.
The 2017 budget proposes that Guyanese pay value-added tax VAT on electricity bills exceeding $10,000 monthly and water bills exceeding $1,500 monthly. There have been some outcry about the measures, but government has noted that about 85% of Guyana power and light consumers will be exempt from paying the VAT. Further, the initiatives are expected to help Guyanese from the lower income bracket whose light and water bills currently exceed the stipulated level to conserve on the use of these utilities. Isaiah Braffett for the Government News Brief.
The Minister of Public Security says that the operational protocol for donating to the Guyana Police Force will be enforced as part of continued efforts to build trust in the law enforcement agency. Here is more from Zanil Williams.
Public Security Minister Kemraj Ramjatan says his ministry will be examining new protocol regarding donations to the GPF to prevent officers from being compromised.
And that will have to be, again, a new protocol that they should not give police stations.
Minister Ramjatan notes that donations, especially from the business sector, are welcomed if they are genuine.
This ministry welcomes that because these people are providing security for the larger community where even that businessmen come from. But we do not want to see businessmen giving and expecting that they, having committed a crime, will now see that CPG group or the police force compromised in the investigation thereafter.
The current operational protocol states that donations to the GPF must be made to the Commissioner of Police. Minister Ramjatan notes that this protocol will be enforced so that the professionalism of police officers is not compromised. I am Zanil Williams for the Government News Brief.
The National Commission for the Family hosted its third roundtable forum at which religious and stakeholder groups of West Demerara Region 3 made their inputs. Details from Delicia Haynes.
The forum was aimed at providing information that will guide the Social Protection Ministry in the implementation of family-oriented programs. Chairperson of the Commission, Sandra Hooper, points out that the family is a fundamental unit of the society.
The Commission hopes to improve the quality of family life in the Guyanese society through the promotion of stable, cohesive families, while the mission provides the opportunity to give greater recognition to the role that the family unit plays in the evolution of contemporary society and to honor the family's function, to enhance its roles, and to strive for the well-being of all its members.
Minister of Social Protection Valdo Lawrence, in delivering the feature address at the discussion, noted that parents have a responsibility to send a clear message to children indicating that they care. Guidance and effective teaching methods will contribute to children's development.
At the Ministry of Social Protection, we are pushing this subject of the family. Strong families will result in strong households. Strong households will result in strong communities. And strong communities will result in a strong nation.
It was highlighted at the forum that strong families stabilize a society. However, a number of challenges affect the growth and development of children. These vary from abuse, anger management, drugs, alcohol, and depression. For the Government News Brief, I am Delicia Haynes.
Cardiac care offered to the Guyanese public will now be free of cost as the Minister of Public Health, along with cardiologists and doctors, today commissioned a Cardiac Intensive Care Unit, CICU, which is housed in the Georgetown Public Hospital. The CICU was commissioned with the unveiling of a plaque and an official opening of the doors to the public. Minister of Public Health, Dr. George Nerting, at the opening, indicated that since cardiac diseases is one of the leading causes of death in Guyana, this is a step towards ensuring that this is no longer the case. The unit will now provide services including a heart failure clinic, cardiac catheterization, electrocardiogram or ECG, stress testing, echocardiogram, and angiogram, among others. Equipment for the unit costs US $300,000 and has 8 monitoring patient beds, 5 step-down care beds, and also pulmonary artery monitoring equipment, among others. Before the commissioning of this unit, Guyanese with heart diseases and other complications sought care at the Caribbean Heart Institute, where a cost was attached for the services. We have come to the end of today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on GINA's website. We encourage you to visit and like our Facebook page to be updated as the news unfolds. Do join us on Monday for another edition of the Government News Brief. I am Renetta LaFleur. Have a great weekend.